There is a moment when you finally decide you're allowed to want something, and you think that would feel amazing, and it doesn't. Not at first, anyway. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen, and if you're new here, welcome. We talk about the real stuff. I know just what that discomfort feels like. It's not just the in between space, but in the early days, the early months, the early years of changing. When I just started, when I decided to start my private practice, I wasn't fully licensed yet. I wasn't ready by anyone's official definition. Yet there were supervisors who believed in me and took me under their wing. So I began hunting for office space and got a separate phone number. And then I took the leap anyway. Before I felt ready, before the fear went away, before I had any guarantee it would work. The uncertainty didn't disappear when I got there. It just changed shape. These things don't happen in clear chapters. You rarely finish one thing and start the next. They overlap. They bleed into one another. I was still growing my practice when I started thinking about what came next. I was still figuring out what next even meant when Tools to Thrive started taking shape. The discomfort didn't wait for me to be ready. It just kept showing up, which I've learned to take as a sign that I'm moving in the right direction, in my right direction. The feeling of discomfort doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. That feeling means you're doing something that actually matters to you. This is what I want you to know, and I mean this. Even the people who look like they know what they're doing don't actually know. We're just further along in getting comfortable in not knowing. So let's talk about you for a minute. Maybe you've grabbed the permission slip and filled it out. Maybe it's sitting in a folder somewhere with the best of intentions. And maybe you haven't grabbed it yet and you're still deciding if you're allowed to want what you actually want. All three of those women are welcome here because the permission slip isn't magic. It isn't going to rearrange your life overnight. What it does is simpler than that and honestly more powerful. It asks you to write down what you want and then let it be true. No committee approval. No waiting for the right moment. No shrinking it down to something more reasonable, more practical, more acceptable to everyone else in the room. Just you and the thing you've been quietly carrying around for longer than you like to admit. When you do that, when you actually name it on paper, something shifts. Not dramatically, not all at once, but you stop arguing yourself out of your own life. And that's where hopeful lives. That is where the first small step suddenly becomes obvious. It was always there. You just couldn't see it. So here's where I land on all of this. Permission isn't a feeling. It's a decision. And you don't have to feel ready to make it. You just have to be willing to write it down and let it be real. The permission slip is free. It's linked below. Print it out, fill it in. And if it brings something up, something you've been sitting on for a while, come tell us about it in the Thrive Hive. It's our free community and it's full of women who are doing exactly what you're doing right now. Deciding, taking the step, getting comfortable with not knowing. If this resonated today, hit subscribe because every week I show up here for women who are in the middle of something and ready to move. I'll see you in the next one.